Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Monsters video. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the shop. This is something different from what I do normally. We're going to be taking a look at some of the Black Friday deals. Apparently mythics are in the shop, which is kind of cool, right? I mean, normally they don't come out in the shop for gems. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that right now. So I believe they're in here, not in the cosmic part. That's coming soon. But if we head over to the monsters, take a look at this. Cat UFO, right now it's available, and many other mythics for an hour and 30 more minutes. I believe they're going to stay like this, even though it says 1 hour and 30 minutes, it's going to come back or so, just like how it does normally in the shop. So take a look at this. Cat UFO 85% off for 345 gems. This was a Legends Pass exclusive monster, right? Where you had to purchase the Golden Legends Pass to get it. Well, take a look at it. It's out now for 345 gems. I know it's just an agate, but still, you can get it. If you have Mythic Ambers, you can go on and rank it up and stuff. So that's just one of them. We have Siberia, and we're going to take a look at every single one of them, and then I'm going to give you guys my opinion on what's worth it and what's not. So first of all, starting off with Cat UFO. I own this monster. It's at 130. Now that I think about it, it's not that great, to be honest. They release a lot of mythics that are immune to stun. They have like Megataunt, they're immune to control, which basically means that they're immune to stun and stuff. And mainly, he does have a AoE stun skill, so that really kind of is useless now. But back in the day, it actually was really good. So that's one of them. Although his other skill, I think it's Bream Slap or something called, and it's like an AoE shock or so. There's an AoE drown skill, I believe, that he has as well, and it's single target stun. He is kind of powerful, and he's actually not that bad as a denier as well. Either way you run him, like I used to run him as an attacker. I really liked him as an attacker before, but many players do run him as a denier as well. Now that I think about it, even it's at 130, I kind of want to switch to runes, like just swap gold runes on this monster, to be honest. So the monster is kind of outdated, not really a big fan of it, but is it worth it for 345 gems? A mythic for 345 gems? Yes, but here's the thing. Why not spend those 345 gems on a different mythic that's actually a meta now or something, right? Or is still a meta. So Cat UFO, not really a big fan of it. And once again, I do have it at 130, so I know what I'm talking about here. Siberia, this was a race monster. I can't believe they actually put up a race in here. So yeah, I believe this was the first race mythic monster as well. Siberia, is it still worth it? Kind of, but I believe there are better monsters now that you can run in your team. So not really a big fan of it, to be honest, unless you're gonna purchase a bunch of them and get it to like 140 or 150. If it's at like around 140 or 150, heck yeah, it's kind of worth it. But if you're just gonna get it to like level 100 or so, not really a big fan of it, to be honest, or just like rank 1 or so. So getting into Armored Claw, this is a Mythic Fire Tank monster. I still use it. I have it at 140. That's why sometimes mainly I use it in war, but on PvP now I actually switch it with a different attacker. So the monster, once again, mythics, just mythics in general, not the cosmic ones, but mythics in general, most of them are outdated. And Armored Claw, I'd say he's a decent monster. He can still be usable, okay? Not that bad, to be honest. From evasion, once again, it could be cleansed. Back then it was really good when it first came out, but now there are many monsters that could actually cleanse that, especially the race monster Vampirastral. Many people actually have that monster, so yeah, Froma, not really that good anymore, unfortunately. I actually have a Froma as well. Zavibit, do we really have to talk about this monster? So yeah, just cross out that Zavibit. We have Vandekan. I actually don't have this monster, but I've seen the skills and stuff and how well he works, and you don't really see Vandekans that much, especially in wars and PvPs as much anymore, so not really worth it, to be honest. Gaidigo, it's a decent CDA monster, but if you actually had access, or let's say if you actually were able to obtain, what was it, Arbet? I think that was her name. I think that was her name, the CDA monster. It's basically like a cosmic version of Gaidigo. So if you were able to get that monster, it's basically a better version of Gaidigo because it's a cosmic, right? So Gaidigo, in this case, you don't really have to purchase it, because if you were able to get Arbet once again, you don't really have to get Gaidigo, okay? I sometimes still use them, sometimes, especially in war, but on PvP, not anymore. Abysmus, this monster used to be really good back then. Because it was a exclusive monster. It came out for like, how much was it? It costed a lot to purchase this monster. And it's apparently a water controller and has free skills. I actually tested this monster out a long time ago on Liam's account. If you guys remember that video, he actually let me use his account to review this monster. Now this monster could actually be countered very easily. There are many monsters that are immune to freeze, immune to control. So not so good now, apparently. Tenei, not really a big fan of this monster, to be honest. I actually have it, and I'd say there are better monsters in here that you can actually go for. MYTHICS, this is a resurrector. So here's my opinion about resurrector monsters now. Although many players do run this monster as an attacker, other than running him as a supporter, as a resurrector. But still, let's just talk about the resurrection part, because people do run that skill. A lot of people actually do. So for MYTHICS resurrection, there are a couple of mythics nowadays, especially the one that I reviewed, I think, a couple of days ago. I think it was Medic or something. The Tails monster, which is going to be available very soon. That monster has a trait that has a resurrection block. There's also Kodama. Many players do run Kodama as well. I've seen it in, although it's many in Infinite Gauntlet, but I've seen it on PvP as well. So MYTHICS is just resurrection block, man. Resurrection block is what's stopping this monster, but it's a decent mythic monster, I'd say. Morix, not really worth the gems, to be honest. Okay, it's not worth the gems. This is a decent tank attacker, I'd say. Alright, this is a decent tank attacker. The damage reduction plus the high life with the shield, it's really good. If you run this monster with two other dodge area mythics in your team, like for example Ricken, Wormlad, and this, you can actually dominate and get into higher leagues. But is it too OP? No, not really. Is it worth the gems? I'd say so. Okay, I'd say so. Rara Avis, this is an extra turner mythic attacker. There are many end spatial monsters now, so if you know what you're doing, if you have the right team, this monster could actually be good. But overall, not really a big fan of it, to be honest. Kind of outdated. Unspeakable, not really worth the gems. There's better monsters. For example, instead of Unspeakable, you can go with who was it? Urder. You can go with Urder instead. Dr. Watts, this was a free pass monster. I'm not sure why you want to purchase the monster. Nowadays, I don't see anyone really using this monster, to be honest. So, not really worth the gems. Zoraki, this is a support monster. Applies triple damage, applies damage boost, cleanses and stuff. It's a decent supporter, but not worth the gems. Hawthorne, this was a race monster. When it actually came out, it was pretty decent. But is it still worth it? No. Okay, now getting into the Mythic Firestar, many people like to call it. So, if you can get the free pass monster right now, Bingson, you don't really have to get this one. That's basically a cosmic version of him. If you've seen my review, you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, if you could just get that free pass monster, you don't really have to get this one, okay? You have Yoroi. Well, this is an outdated attacker, in my opinion. Nightingale, no one really uses this monster. Seriously, it was out in the breeding event a long time ago, and not worth the gems. This was a Tails monster. It wasn't really that bad at that time. Like, it was actually kind of decent. But now, I'd say there are many monsters that are immune to blind and stuff, and this is mainly what she does. So for Moonhaze, this is debatable, honestly. But in my opinion, not really worth the gems, because there are now monsters that are immune to control, like lots of mythics that are coming out, and they've been out actually, that are immune to control. And this monster, what he basically does is stun and possesses and stuff, so not really that good, unfortunately. Glamhead, it's outdated. Don't purchase it. 100% not. No, ignore it. Ignore this monster. Ricken is... He's a decent supporter. I'm not gonna say that he's that bad. He's decent, okay? So yeah, if he's like really ranked up there to like the top, he's decent, okay? Not that bad. Metal Beat, no. I believe this was the first mythic that had the vulnerable effect, but there are better mythics now that, you know, have vulnerable effect, and they're a lot better than Metal Beat. So yeah, not worth the gems there. Josh Dub, not worth the gems. Ase, not worth the gems either. Mr. Beast, this is a decent Megataunt monster. Many players actually use the monster as gold because he does have one of the highest, or I believe the highest, gold income. So they just basically equip him with gold rings, unfortunately. So if you want to get him for gold production, then go ahead and do so. 345, he can give you 425 golds per minute, and that's actually quite a lot. Then we have Tremor. I sometimes use this monster in wars, but on PvP not anymore. So just in wars I use it. Not that worth it anymore, unfortunately. It was a Golden Legends fast monster, but yeah, unfortunately not that good anymore. Globu is kind of decent as a tank, but we have better tanks now, like especially Megatons and stuff. So you don't really have to purchase Globu if you have a better tank or just a Megatons, which is a tank basically. Anyways, Muchi, not that good. Leginger, awful. Don't purchase it. Krusty, with his reverse healing abilities, he is kind of decent, but we have better mythics that could actually dominate with reverse healing and stuff. I mean, we've had, what was that mythic? I recently reviewed it. It was like a week ago or so, and I'd say that probably that monster is better than Krusty. But this one's actually a pure attacker, so yeah. The extra turn skills, though, if you're facing any anticipation monsters, that's not good. Okay, so yeah, that's with Krusty. Vastus was the first pure mythic monster, and it was kind of good at the beginning. But if you own Vanoss, you don't really have to purchase Vastus. But if you want Vastus just for his Pierce mechanic, that's cool. But I'd say there are better mythics now. They could actually do quite a lot with Vastus. Other than Vastus, I meant, you know. So yeah, if you just want to purchase him for basically his Pierce mechanic, you can. Now getting into legendaries. Okay, so that's basically it for mythics. Apparently there aren't any cosmics in here. It's only like the regular mythics. Maybe next year we'll see the cosmics. Who knows? So out of all of these, what's really worth it? Which monsters are actually worth it? Siberia, she's kind of worth it. Kind of. Armorclaw, kind of. Who else do we have? Decent CDA monster, but lots of mythics have 0 cooldown skills on them, so. And plus there's Arbat, that's a lot better, so not really. So Resurrection, I mean Resurrection block could just stop him. Urder is kind of decent actually, it's not that bad. The monster is kind of useful still. Let me see, who else? Nope. Gold income once again. You could use this as a gold, basically. And that's pretty much it, basically. That's pretty much it. Most of these mythics apparently are outdated and people barely use them, including me. Although some of them I do have at like a high rank and I barely use them. A Mad Infusion is worth the gems here, 275 or 276 if you have Lindworm in your team. This monster is insanely powerful with Lindworm. Especially if you have Zyron the Ruby in your team, all those 3 monsters together, they could do quite a lot of damage. Well, not like actual damage, but you know what I mean. Vanoss, not worth the gems. High Mass, 100% not worth the gems. Isol, you have mythics nowadays. Why do you want to run a outdated legendary tank? You know what I mean? Cloud is outdated, so is Vanoss, so is Lernian. Ursus is outdated as well, Patreon. So most of these monsters right here aren't worth the gems. Pure Sight, if you have Pure Sight with, you combine this monster with Lindworm, you can dominate, okay? I've seen it. So Lindworm plus this monster plus maybe Mad Infusion, you could do a lot, okay? You could do a lot with that. So yeah, I'd say Pure Sight would be one of them that's actually worth the gems. These monsters not worth it at all. Nope. Nicasia, no, not really, honestly. If you have Lindworm, then not Lindworm, sorry. If you have Wormlad, then you don't really need Nicasia. Then we have Devestress, Rasiyoko, Phrase Rod. No, not every single one of these. Nope. Boltar, Silverleaf. Well, this monster could actually be pretty decent with Lindworm. Actually, many of these legendaries can be, but Velgate is actually not that bad with the tortures and everything. If you could run this Mana Infusion, and Lindworm, you could do so much. Literally. If I had this monster to 130 maxed out, I would actually run that type of team. It'd be so good. So Eoltron, Lighterium, Relic, no, not okay, none of these monsters are really worth it anymore, to be honest. Maybe for gold purposes, yes, but other than that, no. Really, these should be like maybe 100 gems or something, these legendaries. Seriously, these legendaries should just be 100 gems and that's it. I thought this was Vampira's Troll for a second. I was like, what the heck? I actually like Vampira's Troll design better than this one. It looks a lot better. Alright, no. Okay, basically the rest of them, not worth it at all. And the rest of them are basically just legendaries, right? But yeah, for Mythics, just Mythics, once again, my personal opinion, what I think is really worth it. Mr. Beast for gold income, you could use it for gold purposes. Ricken is decent, but I'm not really a big fan of the monster, but I know some people actually do like it because they own it at like a high rank and they kind of like it. So that's that. Let me see who else. Who else? No. Urger is kind of decent once again. If you run 2 dodge area monsters with this, it's actually quite powerful. Okay. Who else is in here? It's kind of good. Armor Claw's kind of good. Okay. Siberia is kind of good as well. And Cat UFO? Not really. Yeah. I'm probably going to swap up his runes very soon and give him gold runes. Although I do have him to 130 once again. But if it was actual cosmics, that would have been a lot better, I'd say. Lots of people would have purchased like many of those cosmics and stuff, of course. Like there's Lindworm and stuff, right? Many people would purchase lots of Lindworms or something. Or let's see, who else would be? I can't think of anyone else. Daigil would be a really good one too if he was actually in the shop. But I'm not sure if cosmics will actually come out in the shop. But let's say if they do come out in the shop, I'm gonna go ahead and make a video and let you guys know what's actually worth and what's really not. Alright? But anyways, thank you all so much for watching today's Monster Legends video. I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you did, smash like button, also subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Peace out.